Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., replaying those agonizing playoff exits, and just screamed into the void, when will our defense finally be championship caliber? Because, let's be honest, Leafs Nation, we've seen flashes of brilliance, offensive fireworks that could light up the entire city, but time and again, when the chips are down, when the stakes are highest, it feels like our defensive core just can't quite get us over that hump. We're constantly searching for that elusive piece, that rock-solid presence that transforms a good team into a true contender. Well, what if I told you there's a trade idea circulating that could finally give us a legitimate reason to believe? A move that could bring in an unsung hero, a dynamic two-way defenseman who might just be the missing puzzle piece we've been desperately craving for years. The whispers are growing louder. The speculation is heating up, and it centers around a name that should immediately grab your attention. Vince Dunn. Yes, that Vince Dunn, the former 64-point defenseman who's been quietly dominating on the West Coast. The Sporting News, citing Cole Shelton of Heavy Sports, has floated an intriguing concept that sees our beloved Maple Leafs making a significant splash, bolstering our blue line with a player who could redefine our defensive identity. This isn't just about adding another body. It's about injecting a proven high-impact talent into a crucial area, potentially shifting the narrative from almost to unstoppable. Let's dive deep into this fascinating proposal. As the Maple Leafs continue to fine-tune their roster for the upcoming 2025-26 campaign, the defensive core remains a focal point for improvement. We currently boast a lineup featuring names like Reilly, McCabe, Tanev, Carlo, Larson, and Benoit. On paper, it's a solid, respectable group. We have the veteran leadership, the physical presence, and some offensive flair from the back end. But here's the cold, hard truth that every true hockey fan understands. Playoff success, the kind that culminates in hoisting the Stanley Cup, is forged in the crucible of defensive excellence. You can have all the scoring talent in the world, but if your own zone is a revolving door, you're destined for an early summer. What we need, what we've always needed, is another true top-four defenseman, a player who can eat big minutes, shut down opponents, and seamlessly transition to puck-up ice. This is where Vince Dunn enters the conversation, not just as an option, but as a potential game-changer. So, who exactly is Vince Dunn, and why should Leafs Nation be buzzing about him? For starters, he's one of the most criminally underrated defensemen in the entire National Hockey League. He's not always the flashiest player, but he consistently delivers high-impact performances night after night. Dunn is a reliable, two-way force who can effortlessly log over 20 minutes a night, slotting perfectly into a top-four role. But his contributions don't stop there. He's also a valuable asset on both special teams units, bringing a versatile skill set that any coach would covet. Imagine a defenseman who can quarterback your power play with poise and vision, while also being a key component of your penalty kill, disrupting passing lanes and clearing the zone with authority. That's Vince Dunn. Looking at his recent performance, Dunn just wrapped up a solid season with the Seattle Kraken, tallying 11 goals and 28 assists for 39 points. Those are respectable numbers for any defenseman, but they don't tell the full story of his offensive potential. Just 2 seasons prior, in 2022-23, Dunn exploded for a career-high 64 points. Think about that for a moment. 64 points from a defenseman, in a Leafs lineup already brimming with elite offensive talent. Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares. A player like Dunn, with his puck-moving ability and offensive instincts, would likely thrive. Surrounded by more firepower, it's entirely plausible that he could return to that 60-plus point production, adding another layer of offensive punch from the blue line, while simultaneously shoring up our defensive responsibilities. He's not just a stay-at-home guy. He's a modern defenseman who can contribute at both ends of the ice, a true dual threat that could unlock new dimensions for our team. Now, let's talk about the proposed trade package that would send Dunn to Toronto. According to the Heavy Sports concept, the Maple Leafs would acquire Vince Dunn, while the Seattle Kraken would receive Oliver Ekman-Larsson, promising young defenseman Ben Danford, and a 2026 third-round draft pick. At first glance, this looks like a deal that makes a lot of sense for both organizations, albeit with different strategic objectives. From Seattle's perspective, this trade is clearly a move with an eye towards the future. While parting with a player of Dunn's caliber in his prime might seem like a tough pill to swallow, They would be acquiring assets that align with a longer-term vision. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, while in the twilight of his career, still offers a veteran presence and can be a solid top six option on defense. He brings experience and leadership to a younger blue line, and for a team like Seattle, he could provide stability while their younger prospects develop. Then there's Ben Danford, a promising young defenseman in the Leafs system, representing a future building block for the Kraken. Adding a 2026 third-round pick further sweetens the deal, providing Seattle with additional draft capital to continue stocking their pipeline with young talent. This is a classic sacrifice in the present for long-term gain scenario, allowing Seattle to retool and build for sustained success down the road. For the Maple Leafs, however, this trade is all about the win-now mentality that permeates every corner of the organization. We are in a championship window, and every move made must be geared towards maximizing our chances of bringing the cup home. Acquiring Vince Dunn immediately strengthens our defensive group, addressing a critical need with a player who can step in and make an impact from day one. He offers a blend of offensive skill, defensive responsibility, and the ability to play heavy minutes that would elevate our blue line significantly. Imagine Dunn paired with a steady presence like Jake McCabe or even a rejuvenated TJ Brody, forming a formidable second pairing that can handle tough matchups and contribute offensively. His presence would also allow for greater flexibility in our defensive pairings, potentially optimizing the ice time and matchups for Reilly and other key defensemen. This isn't just about adding depth. It's about adding quality depth at a crucial position in the playoffs where every shift, every puck battle, and every defensive zone exit can dictate the outcome of a game. Having a player like Dunn who can reliably move the puck, break up plays, and contribute offensively is invaluable. He brings a calm, composed presence under pressure, something that has, at times, been sorely missed in past playoff runs. This trade could be the catalyst that transforms our defense from solid to elite, providing the foundation necessary to withstand the rigors of a deep playoff push. It's a bold move, yes, but one that could pay dividends far beyond what the stat sheet suggests. It's about building a team that is resilient, adaptable, and capable of going toe-to-toe with the best in the league. Not just in the regular season, but when it truly matters. So, as we look ahead to the next chapter of Maple Leafs hockey, this trade idea for Vince Dunn stands out as a genuinely exciting prospect. It addresses a long-standing need, brings in an underrated talent with significant upside, and aligns perfectly with the team's unwavering commitment to winning now. Could this be the strategic masterstroke, the missing piece that finally propels the Toronto Maple Leafs to glory? The thought alone is enough to send shivers of anticipation down any fan's spine. It's time for the Leafs to make a statement, and bringing in a player like Vince Dunn would certainly do just that. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Is Vince Dunn the missing piece we've been screaming for? Does this trade make us legitimate contenders? Drop your thoughts, your wildest theories, and your most passionate arguments in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're hyped for this possibility, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next deep dive into all things blue and white. Let's keep this conversation going.